Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. We are in full sunshine today in the plant room. I've even turned the heat off and I'm just heating the room with solar energy. Here's a look at my Portulacaria afroforest. It's in the sunlight and you can see the difference between sunlight and the grow light. Now this grow light is fairly high up. It's not directly down on the tree. But you can see the grow light is filling in the shadows. It does provide more illumination. But it doesn't compete with the sunlight as far as intensity. I'm going to start today's video with a trip to the community orchards, First Nations garden, community gardens, and edible forest. And we're just going to see how everything's looking. Here's a look at our welcome sign. Canada 150 plus commemorative community gardens and edible forest. So this whole garden area will be redone. There'll be a welcome garden here. The Horticultural Society is going to take care of that, designing it and planting it, and it'll be an edible type entrance garden. So it'll be very exciting to get an entrance to this kind of park. So here I am in the community gardens. I'm thinking back to the midsummer when I came out here with the truck and wood chips. It was one of the hottest days of the year, and now I'm out here in winter. Someone's made a little snowman here. Very cool. You can see our row of fruit trees here, how we're eventually getting it to be a single row so the mowers can come in beside the fence there. So it looks like we're about halfway done. One thing we never finished last year, we were supposed to tie the trees to the stakes that we put in, and we were going to do that, and then I don't know, it rained or something, and then we never got around to doing it. So hopefully they'll be okay. If I think of it, I'll bring some string out here and tie them up. Just needs a bit of string wrapped around the stake and the tree. Hold them in position. Looks kind of eerie. It looks like a bunch of people out here standing by stakes. It's kind of, I don't know, looks kind of spooky. You can see all the rabbit footprints around the trees. And I'm hoping they're not getting in and chewing on the bark. The trees look okay, at least that one does. That's a cherry tree. But yeah, the ground is just covered in rabbit tracks. So here's where the double row starts. We've got all these trees removed from the back row up to about here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 trees to go. That's not too bad. Here's a spiral orchard over here, looking really good. We still have a pile of wood chips out there. It's amazing how much progress we made in 1 year, considering the situation with COVID and that. Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm very proud of all the volunteer work. You know, this whole place was done with basically volunteer work. So it's just fantastic. Wow. So this year, our plan is to start on the edible forest. So I've been researching a lot of that on, growing an edible forest. And so half of it will be trees and half will be understory bushes. So berry bushes and that, and I think it'll go really well. I think we'll get a lot done this coming year. We'll get a lot of edible stuff planted. It's going to be fantastic. This place is just like a bonsai. It's just going to get better and better every year. It's going to be amazing someday to think this will be a mature mature orchard, and over there will be an edible forest full of food. That'd be great. I see on the ground over here a branch from one of our fruit trees. Someone's broken that off. You can see they dragged it along the ground there for a while. That's too bad. There's not much you can do about that. It's going to happen, unfortunately. Looks like all the garden structures have kind of collapsed. They're kind of falling apart. There was a stake on this tree. It's a peach tree. You can see the strap that held it to the stake And the stake is lying on the ground over there. There's a nice pile of compost over here. I don't know if looks like it's just wood chips. Oh, that'll be really good for next year. It's all spruce. You can see the cones in there. Spruce needles, spruce tips. Wow, that's gonna be good stuff. Oh, I can smell it now. It smells fantastic. Wow. What a nice smell. So we leave the gates open over here. We used to have them closed and locked, and every time you locked them up, someone prized the lock off. They were cutting through the fence here to get in, stealing whatever they could in the shed. Stole the lawnmower, steal everything. So, yeah, it's too bad. It looks like everything's locked up. Well, this shed's not locked. That one's not locked, but this one is. You can see the pry marks on the door where they've forced it open at one time. That's when they stole the lawnmower. So all the garden plots are sleeping for the winter. There's my wife's plot here. Looks like it's doing okay. I see lots of rabbit footprints, and you can see they've probably chewed down the raspberries. Yeah, they're working on the raspberry canes, chewing them down. We never have to prune the raspberries back in fall because the rabbits always chew them down to the ground like that. I'm going to come over and check on our trees, our pre-orchard trees. Lots of rabbit footprints through here too. Hopefully the trees are okay. Oh no, they're not. You can see what they've done here, chewing on the bark. Yeah, not too bad. I can see this one. I don't know. Oh, they've been chewed off at the top here. Yeah, they've all been pruned back by the rabbits. All the branches got pruned off. Wow. Okay, so that's not good. It looks like it's just on the cherry trees. So we'll have to do something and protect those for the winter. It's a good thing I came out here today. Here's the birdhouses. I remember that sunny day in spring out here with Murray. He listening to his stories as he put these in. That was a fun day. There's the 2 pawpaw trees we put in for the start of our edible forest. So our plan is to plant trees. We're going to order nut trees this year. And around the trees we're going to start an understory gardens like raspberries, blackberries, all kinds of currants, all kinds of edible bushes and that. And then we'll just slowly expand these islands around the trees out until they're all interconnected with pathways, and just do it like that, because most of these, berry bushes and that, you can divide them to get more. So they're spreading and invasive. So you buy one plant, and then at the end of the year you might have 5 times that amount. So that's the plan, is just to plant the trees with islands of garden around them and then interconnect them slowly as they get bigger and put pathways in, and it's going to be really fantastic. There'll be so much food in this area. So we did get 1 bird nesting in this birdhouse in spring. So that's really exciting. I haven't seen Murray since the day he put these in. I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard from him. Haven't seen him out here, but yeah, hopefully he's doing well. At the moment, there's no one here in the gardens, but come spring, it'll be a flurry of activity again as everyone gets their garden plots ready and we start planting more trees and bushes and shrubs and transforming this field into something special. We've got our solar panels still on top of the shed roof there doing nothing. They're not hooked up to anything. We need a controller, some marine batteries in the shed, and the trouble with doing that is people will go in and steal them. So I don't know what to do. You either have to make the shed so strong that no one can break in, or just abandon the idea. It's a good idea, solar panels to recharge the battery operated tools and that, but I don't know. I don't think solar power is such a good thing. I think the net benefit to the earth, its footprint, its carbon footprint or ecological footprint, I think it's not worth it. I think it's the solution is to do more manual labor and not use power tools, I think. Anyway, I think it's time to head home and get some bonsai work done, and we'll take the path through the forest. It's just a short trip through the forest here. This is like a narrow strip of forest. It's really beautiful. I love looking up at the trees, studying the structure of their broom-style canopies. Yeah, really amazing. This forest is divided into two sections. This section is all deciduous trees. And then further down here we get into the coniferous section. And the coniferous section is really old, and it's amazing. The forest floor is all roots. And so it's really hard to walk and bike through it, but it's just fantastic looking. It's amazing for something like this, to have something like this in the city. So we'll head down there and have a look at it. Sometimes when the wind comes up, snow blows off the top of the trees and it kind of, you get a bit of snow coming down. It's really cool. So here we are amongst the spruce trees. There's pine trees. You see the roots down here. Oh, it feels, when you walk into this section of the forest, it feels cool. There's a breeze that goes through it, and it's very refreshing. It's like stepping into a fridge on a hot day. If you've ever worked in a restaurant and you go in the walk-in fridge, it feels like that. It's just this crisp air blowing over you. It feels fantastic. So here's a look up at the trees. The sun's hitting them away up there. Beautiful. This spruce is quite tall. It has a lot of dead branches. Probably 2/3 of the tree are dead branches, and then way up top where the sun is, it has some live branches. Wow. It's beautiful under here. Here's a grand old spruce by the roadway. Really, really tall. Amazing. Here's a slingshot tree. This is what you don't want in your bonsai, where a tree's being cut off at the top and two branches have grown each side, like, I don't know, a referee saying goal, and then they go up. Actually, one of them is dead. So I was on my way home, wasn't I? I kind of get distracted sometimes, but you know, when you've got a beautiful forest like this, I don't know, I could spend all day in here exploring, taking pictures. I think one of the nice things about forest is the light patterns. The way the sun hits the forest floor, lights up trees, certain parts of them. It's, I don't know. It's the only place you get that kind of lighting is in the middle of a forest. It's just beautiful. There's always dead trees that have fallen over, leaning on other trees. Always gives you good ideas for a bonsai forest to do something similar. I like when you're in a forest and the forest is so thick that you can't see very far. You know, there's houses and stuff way over there, but you can't see them. The forest is so dense. That's really cool. I can hear the noises of the city, but you can't see anything much except forest. Anyway, we're making our way out to civilization once again. And finally, I'm going to head home. Many people have asked, what is this giant blue thing here? And this is the city's water tower. And it's huge. It looks like a giant flying saucer up there. I cut off part of the base there. Amazing. So Julie and I, we practice baseball against here. If you throw the ball, it hits this slope surface and it bounces back to you just right. So there's an entrance to it over here. There it is. So yeah, someone actually climbs up there. You can see handrails up near the top. Right there. I would be scared to death up there. I've seen people standing on the very top of this big, ball on top here, on the very top, and I just have visions of slipping off the edge and going down to the ground. Oh, it's just too scary. I'm back home now, and in the corner back here, I have my fusion ficus. So let's get that down and we'll start working on it. Here's a look at the tree, and I brought it up from cold storage in the basement because it wasn't looking so good up top. Some of the leaves were going yellow and the tips were dying. If I shake the tree, you can see a whole bunch of leaves fall off. And that's quite normal for a ficus tree. If it changes environment suddenly, it'll lose all its leaves and then it'll grow back in. My thinking with this tree is that it grew all summer and it gained a lot of vigor. You can see how full it got up top in the canopy. I eventually want the canopy on this tree to be quite short, so maybe half what it is now, half the height. So it's been growing all summer and it gained all kinds of vigor. It did really well this summer. And after summer, I brought it down to the basement into the cold. So it's had a really long rest period where all those starches in it will be converted to sugar. And I think, now that I brought it up into the heat, I think it's going to go crazy with new growth. So in order to get it shortened, I'm going to have to do some fairly drastic pruning once again. And that's what I did last time, and it did quite well. So I'm going to do that again today, try and get the tree shortened so it's not quite so tall. And hopefully my theory will be correct and it'll burst out with all kinds of new growth and the tree will be more compact. When you're pruning a Ficus benjamina like this, it's always wise to leave some green leaves on the end of your branches. Don't take them back to just the bare wood, or there's a good chance that branch could die back. So I'll be trying to do that today. I'll try and shorten the tree a lot and still keep green foliage on those branches. All right, I've got all my tools here. I've got my heavy-duty cutters and my lighter cutters. So I should be able to prune off any kind of thickness branch I want. So I'm going to try and reduce the canopy down as much as I can. And then this summer I'll let it grow and get vigorous again. And then I'll just keep refining it every year. And eventually I'm hoping to get a nice umbrella canopy on it and fairly low. So that's the plan. Can we do it? I hope we can. These leaves are just, every time I touch the tree, all these leaves fall off. All right, well, let's see. Let's start with these tall upright branches. I'll prune them back as far as I can. So on this one, for instance, there's a branch really low down here, so I could take the entire top off and just develop this little tiny shoot here. And I will do that because that's nice to have that opportunity to reduce, it's nice to have that opportunity to reduce a branch that far back. And I'm wondering if I should come up higher just in case it dies back, and this one will be sure to grow. I think I will. I'm going to take it back to here. So a little bit of a safety margin. I've got this branch here and the one down lower. Okay, on this one out back, I pruned it off here before, and there's a new branch there, so I can take that growing tip off. Like that. Big cut there. That gets that branch down a little lower in height. I could even go further. There's a branch coming out the back here, and there's another one coming forward here, so I could prune it quite far back, and I think I will. I do want this tree to be quite, short in height. So here I go. I cut off this one previously, hoping something would sprout out, and nothing ever did. That branch is still alive, so there's still hope something will come out, but I don't know why it didn't. Just one of those things. This part of the tree is very tall, and there's quite a canopy on top. I have a branch here coming out, one out the back. I think the one I would want to develop is this one. I still need something coming out front for this to be the front view. All my branches are kind of in the back or the sides. I've got nothing except this branch coming out this kind of a direction. So hopefully, this branch will develop a bit more this year. I'm just going to prune off. There's an inside growing branch here. So now, this one kind of goes out the back, so I could take it off right here. It still leaves it quite tall. I could even go lower to this branch, but it's not a very good direction, that branch. I've got nothing really growing directly out the back until I get way up high in the canopy here. I'm going to take it off here now. It's quite a big cut, but it'll reduce the height quite a bit. Here I go. Wow, look at that. That was a cut. Still losing leaves. I guess I'm going to be sweeping in here after this. Okay, still reducing the height. I can take this off here, like that. I can take this vertical section off here, like that. I can prune this tip back to here. I can prune this one. There is some shoots coming out already on this. I think this is just going to burst in vigor. I can already see all kinds of little new green tips forming on the branches, so it's ready to grow this. There's a tall one over here, and I can take it way, way back to here, and I will. The nice sunny day turned into a cloudy day now. I came back from the forest and the community gardens, and I had some lunch. Here I go with that cut. Gone. And it started clouding over, and I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping for a nice day of sunshine. Okay, so that's reduced that branch. There's a dead branch out back I'll take off. It just fell off. I can prune off this. I'm actually, I don't know. I got a choice of branches to prune. There's 3 branches coming from one spot here. I think if I take the middle one out, the Y is too spread out. So I've got to pick either these 2 or these 2. And the branch, I kind of want it. It's in a good position this way. So, and I don't have much out back, so I think I'm going to have to take off this one. Like that. And then this branch has to be shortened. Like that. I'm going to shorten this one too. And this one. Okay. Now, I still wish I had something coming out front here. I just don't. Okay, I've got this tall branch here now. I've got a nice horizontal branch down low, so I'm going to utilize that. So here I go. Just like that. That's gone. I've got a more upright branch here that I'm going to take off. Like that. going to shorten this branch back. I think I'll take it off here, like that, and we'll take the top off, like that. This one needs shortening. If I shorten this one, there's no foliage on the tip. It'll leave just a bare branch, so I don't know. Maybe I should just leave that be and see if something sprouts in this area, then I can prune it back. I think that's what I'll do. Quite a change to this tree today. It's, yeah, it's really changed. So, let me see now. I've got kind of a nice structure in this branch. I wonder, I got this branch out the back. I could reduce this branch, take it right back. I am. If this branch were gone, I've got these two to develop, and I can take the top off there. And that's really nice, a nice branch, lots of taper movement. So I'm going to prune this back short, and if it doesn't sprout any new growth, it's no harm done. Gets rid of that big long branch out the side. So now I'm going to go over to this side of the tree and decide what to do there. I've got to reduce it back in length. It's getting very long, so we'll take it off there. There. I've got 3 branches coming from one spot there. And it's going to be that vertical one that goes at the back, so that's coming right off. There we go. That's off. And then I've got this big long swooping branch here. I can take that off to here, like that. Quite a severe reduction. So lots of white milky sap at all my cut points. That shows the tree's got lots of vigor in it. I'm going to leave this stub on here for now. Hope something sprouts out here. I'm going to take the top off here. I get a little more reduction doing that. And I'm going to take the center part out here. I'm just going to prune some of the tips with the scissors, cleaning up some of the dead wood. Oh, every time I touch leaves, they fall off. There's some sprouts growing inwards here. I don't want those. Prune those off. There's another one here, but that's at the apex. I'll leave that one. A few dead branches here I can take off. So I think that's about as hard a pruning as I can do for today. And that is quite a hard pruning on a ficus. If I don't do this hard pruning, it just becomes this giant tree. And I want the focus to be on the nice trunk that's forming and eventually get a nice banyan style canopy on it. And I think that'll really make this tree spectacular. So yeah, a lot of hard work pruning it back and letting it grow to regain vigor, and then I'll prune it back again, and eventually, like this branch here is really nice, and it was like one of the worst branches. It just came out from the trunk and went skyrocketed straight up. So then I pruned it off. Now I have a side branch, and I pruned that off, and more branching. So I get a nice little compact branch that tapers from thick to the thin growing tips in a very short amount of time. It's got lots of movement to it, and it'll just get better with time. I met with Mari and Jerome from the Bonsai Supply. We met with a Zoom meeting and had virtual coffee together. I'll put the link to the interview in the description below. Lots of really large branches on the cutting room floor today. I sure hope the tree reacts the way I'm thinking it might. Today's hard pruning it's a bit of a gamble. Like I said, the tree should be super vigorous. It's had a good period of dormancy, and now in the warmth, it's just ready to explode in new growth. So I'm hoping, everything comes together, and next time you see this tree, it's just full of, all kinds of new branches and foliage all over it. So I'll keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. I'm going to clean it up, and we'll take a final look at it. Here's a look at the tree now, all cleaned up. This tree is just growing in an ordinary nursery seed tray. The seed tray's doubled up for a little more strength. but it still flexes and cracks when I pick it up. You can see the corner is broken. It's an inexpensive way to develop a nice tree. It's a nice flat kind of pot. It's got the right proportions. And then when your tree gets to a, show-worthy condition, or when it's starting to look really nice, you can buy a really nice expensive ceramic pot for it just to complement the tree. I'm back here behind the camera looking at the tree now, and to me it's looking really beautiful. It's getting a nice branch structure. It gives me a real banyan feel to it. And I think, once the foliage fills in, I can get the tree a little shorter up top, get some front growth coming. I think it's going to look really good. I'm really pleased. I think, from a tree that, didn't have much hope there when the top dried off of it, and I was left with kind of a trunk with a few branches, and yeah, it was looking pretty grim then, but it's been resurrected as the Frankenficus, and I'm so pleased with it. I think it's coming along really nicely. You can see on some of those upright branches where I prune them off how it's starting to get a bit of a curve to the inside corner of the bend now. Ficuses tend to smooth out as they grow older, so any 90-degree corners, they start to blend in and become smoother. So yeah, and this tree's slowly becoming smoother, and it's got a long way to go, but I'm happy with its development. I think it's making good progress. And that is all for today. I hope you check out the link in the description for Coffee Talk with Jerome and Mari, or is it Mari and Jerome? Anyway, that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone. No, wait a minute. Wait, stop. We can't end the video there. We've got to protect the trees. I'm back out here at the community gardens. I've got some chicken wire and some tin snips, and I'm going to put a cage around these trees just to stop the rabbits eating them. Like that. There. Better keep that wire. I might need it. There. We're around all the trees. I'm going to kind of get it into the snow a bit. Here's a look at my rabbit fencing. Goes all the way around most of the trees. It misses one larch over there, and I think that's a birch there. Maybe, I don't know what that is. Anyway, it gets most of the fruit trees in here. There we go. Okay, and then I'll attach this end of the fence to this end. I'll just kind of curl the wires around to grip. All right, there's my cage I put around the trees. Do you guys feel safer now? I think they do. All right, I hope that does the job. I think now we can end the video. Oh wait, one more thing to do. It's getting close to supper time, and I'm hungry, and I'm wondering, can you pick kale in January? I'm thinking you can. Look at it over here. It actually looks really good. Look at that. It's green and leafy. Yeah, it's looking really good. Well, that's going to be part of my supper tonight. I'll pick a handful and take it home with me. There's a nice leaf there. I love this kale. You boil it up just like spinach. It's delicious. And especially this stuff that's picked in the cold, it has extra flavor. When you pick it in the summer, it kind of doesn't have a whole lot of taste. But I guess because it's sitting here, maybe these starches are turning to sugar, it gets sweeter or something, and it gets a lot more flavor. So that's enough. That'll do me for tonight. So I'll cook that kale up with some rice. I've got green peppers, I've got spinach, I've got zucchinis that I can chop up, And then I'll add some spices, maybe some lentils, and that'll be my dinner. Oh, I'm getting so hungry. And now that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.